what really shocked me in the Sunday, I think it was the Sunday Star Times, there was an interesting article about kids these days getting hip replacements and destroyed hip joints pre-puberty. It was incredible what was happening here, and that's because their joints are collapsing under the weight of their bodies. Obesity in the OECD, we're very, very high. And did you see this, and what do you make of this issue? I thought it was extraordinary.
It is extraordinary, and it is very worrying because we have some of the most obese children in the world, and what's happening is while other countries are seeing obesity decline in children because they've put in place very strong measures, government measures, community measures, here in New Zealand we're seeing obesity climb for children. And I was listening to Professor Boyd Swinburne, who's an expert in this issue, just a few days ago, who said 6 years ago, when the National Party cancelled the healthy eating, healthy action programs we put in place, it was a retrograde step. And we've seen obesity going up since then.
Every month, the number of articles about this issue is climbing. It seems to be quite an astonishing. If there was one thing in the first 100 days of office that you would do to tackle the weight of our kids and obesity, what might it be?
Well, it can't be just one thing. That's just not how it works. It's a very complicated issue, and you need a whole range of things. You need a community involvement, you need regulation, and you also need to ensure that you're putting in place programs within schools, with families, with children. So first of all, you make it a priority. That's what I'd say. Make it a priority.
Scott, would you want to respond to what Annette King led? A lot of the money and many of the established programs were actually removed around nutrition and activity, and now what we're seeing is we're reaping the benefits of those programs being moved from you guys.
Well, I can assure you that it's taken a lot more than 6 years to get to the problem we've got now with obesity, particularly in our young kids. But I agree with Annette.
Healthy tuck shops in schools, why can't that be back?
Oh, because it's just nanny state stuff.
What's wrong with it?
We have a much bigger role to play.
What's wrong with our kids not having fatty foods, pies and all that sort of stuff, sugary stuff?
Because as Annette says, and where I would agree with Annette, is there's not a silver bullet answer, single answer to this issue.
But it's a good one.
It's a range of things.
It's a good one.
And there's a whole range of things. And that's why we've started some new programs that are aimed at... Well, it's the Healthy Families New Zealand program, for instance.
Taken from
underway.
Australia.
It's going to... nothing wrong with it. It's a good idea. It
We
works
had
in Australia.
We had good programs in New Zealand. We didn't need to bring an Australian one over.
It's going to be effective for about 900,000 New Zealanders, and it's a trial program, and it's about healthy eating, healthy exercise, a whole range of lifestyle things. And so it's not just one silver bullet.
Russell's shaking his head in the corner there. What do you make of what? What do you make of what Scott says?
I want to just deal with the issue of the nanny state. So think about this. We require parents to put their children in school, right? Now, this is the daddy nanny state writ big, right? We take children from their parents. We say, you have to send them to school. It's compulsory. When we get them there, then we say, oh, no, but you can feed them crap. Even though we force them to be there, you're allowed to feed them hot chips, lollies, anything you like. And then we said, no. So we want to put in place that if we forcibly say to parents, you have to send your kids to school, then the state has surely a responsibility to feed healthy food to those children that we have said have to be there.
Well, hang on. No.
And the National Party says, oh no, that's nanny state. It's not nanny state to force them to be there and feed them full of junk, but if you say you've got to feed them healthy food, that's nanny state.
That's the Green's definition of healthy food might be completely different to my definition or Annette's definition of healthy food.
So what's your definition? What's your definition?
Well, my definition would include a whole range of proper foods, of natural
like
foods.
What?
Well, I don't know. The Greens would want us to have mung beans and things like that.
Now you're exaggerating. Mung beans. Why do you always say mung beans when it comes to healthy food?
Because he doesn't have an argument. When you don't have an argument, you throw abuse. That's how it works.
But I just don't think that you can have a single issue like that and say, that's it, we've done our bit.
Russell,
it's a much wider issue.
Just coming back to Russell, you go on about nanny state. Well, what about the issue? And I think that Cameron Slater pointed us on his blog, actually.
So this is a John Key, right? So we're listening to John Key here, right? Okay, I'm ready.
What about personal responsibility? No one is... I mean, you're a thin guy. You'd have had tuck shops in Australia. You would have been, like I did, was fed Sally Lunns and pies in Manarua East. So isn't it a little bit about personal responsibility
Of course
and
it
choice?
is. It's a complex environment. It's about the obesogenic environment, to use the language, right? But it is about personal responsibility, parental responsibility, but it's also about government and community responsibility. We're all part of this thing, and we've all got to play our part. Unfortunately, the incoming national government said government doesn't have responsibility. Actually, it does. So do parents, so do individuals.